The 1970s were the peak of the muscle car era. Big engines, massive horsepower, and quarter-mile times that could embarrass even some modern performance cars. Before emissions regulations and rising insurance costs slowed things down, American automakers were in an all-out horsepower war, producing some of the quickest muscle cars ever built. These weren't just fast, they were legends. Today, we're counting down the top 10 fastest quarter-mile muscle cars of the 70s. These beasts dominated the drag strips, laying down blistering times with nothing more than raw power, big carburetors, and aggressive gearing. If you wanted to be the king of the streets in the 70s, these were the cars to beat. Let's take a look at the muscle machines that defined straight-line speed in the golden age of performance. Starting off our list is the 1971 Chevrolet Corvette LS6. While the Corvette is often thought of as a sports car rather than a muscle car, the LS6 powered model blurred that line with its raw power and brutal acceleration. Under the hood was a 454 LS6 V8, producing a factory-rated 425 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. This beast sent all that power to the rear wheels through either a 4-speed manual or an automatic transmission, launching it down the quarter mile in 13.8 seconds at 105 miles an hour. The Corvette LS6 was one of the fastest American cars of its time, but its high price and looming emissions restrictions meant that few were built. Today, original LS6-powered Corvettes are highly sought after, commanding serious prices at auctions. Dodge entered the muscle car wars with a vengeance in 1970, introducing the Challenger RT, a car that packed serious heat when ordered with the legendary 426 HEMI V8. Producing 425 horsepower and 490 pound-foot of torque, the Challenger RT could rocket down the quarter mile in 13.6 seconds at 104 miles an hour. The HEMI version came with a heavy-duty suspension, a Dana 60 rear axle, and aggressive gearing that made it an absolute menace on the drag strip. Only a few hundred HEMI-equipped Challengers were built in 1970, making them one of the rarest and most valuable Mopars today. When properly tuned, these cars could easily dip into the 12-second range with minor modifications. The Plymouth Superbird wasn't just built for the quarter mile, it was built to dominate NASCAR. But even off the oval, it was an absolute weapon on the strip when equipped with a 426 HEMI. With 425 horsepower and a streamlined aerodynamic design, the Superbird could launch down the quarter mile at 13.5 seconds at 105 miles an hour. The massive rear wing and pointed nose weren't just for show. They helped reduce drag and keep the car stable at high speeds. Despite its performance, the Superbird was a tough sell at dealerships. Many buyers found the design too extreme for street driving, and unsold models were often converted back to standard road runners. Today, an original HEMI Superbird is one of the most collectible muscle cars on the planet. Don't let the Buick badge fool you. The 1970 GSX Stage 1 was a brawler hiding in a gentleman's suit. While Buick was traditionally known for building cushy cruisers, the GSX Stage 1 flipped that reputation with raw, unfiltered torque. At the heart of the GSX was a 455 cubic inch V8, officially rated at 360 horsepower. But anyone who's driven or raced knows the real story. It was severely underrated. Torque came in at a monstrous 510 pound-feet, one of the biggest figures of any muscle car from the era. This thing could rip down the quarter mile in just 13.3 seconds, often faster with minor tuning. Only 678 models were produced in 1970, with just 400 featuring the Stage 1 Performances package. Its low production numbers and brute strength have made it a legend. If you line it up against one in the 70s, you were either very brave or about to lose. If you were looking to make a statement in the early 1970s, the 71 HEMI Cuda was your weapon of choice. Plymouth's top-tier performance coupe was a loud, brash, and beautiful machine built to run hard and look good doing it. Powered by the legendary 426 HEMI, the Cuda pushed out 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. It could cover the quarter mile in about 13.2 seconds at 108 miles per hour right off the showroom floor. But let's be honest, no one left it in stock. With headers, slicks, and a little tuning, it became a 12-second monster with ease. Only 108 HEMI Cudas were produced in 1971, making them exceptionally rare today. One recently sold at auction for over $3 million. Back in the day, though, it was the street racer's dream. Loud, unapologetic, and brutally fast. When it came to brute force muscle, the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6 was the undisputed king of the streets. It wasn't the lightest nor the most exotic, but it had one thing most muscle cars didn't: overwhelming horsepower. Its 454 cubic inch LS6 V8 cranked out 450 factory-rated horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. Chevy fans will tell you those numbers were conservative. Real-world dyno results often put it closer to 500-plus horses. On the strip, it delivered a solid 13.1 second quarter mile at 108 miles an hour. What made the LS6 Chevelles so dangerous was how easy it was to get serious power with basic bolt-ons. Even with factory parts, it was a street killer, and with that aggressive cowl induction hood and deep rumble, it didn't just go fast, it looked and sounded the part too. The 1970 Coronet RT is often overshadowed by its Charger and Challenger siblings, but that just makes it one of the most underrated Mopars of the era. When you optioned it with the 426 HEMI, the Coronet RT became a legitimate strip tear. 425 horsepower, 490 pound-feet of torque, and a curb weight that was just a bit lighter than the Charger meant one thing: it could hook and book. The quarter mile came up in just about 13 seconds flat, making it one of the quickest full-size muscle cars on the market. Only a handful were ordered with the HEMI, making it a true rarity today. The Coronet's unique front-end design with its twin-loop bumper treatment gave it a look all its own, and once that light turned green, you'd only be seeing the taillights anyway. The GTX was marketed as the gentleman's muscle car, but don't let that nickname fool you. It was an absolute monster when ordered with the 426 HEMI. Combining upscale features with brutal power, the 1970 GTX was both fast and refined. With 425 horsepower and the ability to go from 0 to 60 in under 5.5 seconds, the HEMI GTX could clear the quarter mile in just 12.9 seconds. That was serious performance for the era, comparable to dedicated drag cars, but with a full interior and optional air conditioning. The GTX didn't sell in huge numbers, which means spotting one today, especially a factory HEMI, is like seeing a unicorn. It's the kind of car that could win trophies at the show and trophies at the strip, all in the same weekend. The Dodge Charger RT needs no introduction. Made famous by movies and street racing legends alike, the Charger was one of Mopar's most iconic muscle machines, and none were more powerful than the HEMI-equipped RT. Packing the 426 HEMI with its 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, the Charger RT could blaze through the quarter mile in 12.8 seconds, and it did it with style. The fastback design, hideaway headlights, and unmistakable muscle car stance made it a favorite on both the streets and the track. With only a limited number of HEMI RTs ever produced, original models are insanely valuable today, but back in the day, if you pulled up next to one at a light, you knew you were in for a serious beatdown. The last entry comes with an asterisk, but it had to make the list: the 1971 Dodge Demon. When fitted with a swapped-in 426 HEMI, became one of the fastest quarter-mile cars of the era, even if it wasn't an official factory option. The Demon was Dodge's lightweight compact muscle car. Normally, it came with a 340 or 360 cubic inch engine, but with a 426 HEMI under the hood, weighing less than 3,100 pounds, this thing was unstoppable. Tuned examples have posted quarter-mile times as low as 10.5 seconds, faster than almost anything on the street. While Chrysler never built one at the factory, plenty of Mopar diehards made it happen in their own garages. It was the ultimate sleeper, small, unassuming, and faster than nearly anything else from the decade. And that wraps up our list of the 10 fastest quarter-mile muscle cars of the 1970s. These machines weren't just fast, they were legends, setting records and leaving a lasting impact on the world of performance cars. Before emissions regulations and rising fuel costs slowed things down, these muscle cars ruled the streets and drag strips. Which of these quarter-mile kings would you take for a run down the strip? Or do you know of another muscle car that deserves a spot on the list? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Legends of the Road, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.